Today we're going to be looking at the Askay Cross Country Stereo for 2 Royal International. That last bit's a bit tacked on there considering it's just a sticker. Now it's a stereo for 2, as you can see, with the happy pair here, both listening to the music. And it is represented here with questionable accuracy, but we'll get to that in a moment. It is the model SP38, made in Hong Kong, like most cheap electronics of the era. Anyway, we'll get to opening it up, as it's in its original box. Oh, and it's stereo, in case you didn't notice. That is something quite important to point out, especially at the time, because some cheaper things are not, and still to this day. Anyway, it's in its styrofoam and everything, very nice. And so you have the full kit. Now, the player itself, it's rather odd. At least I think it's rather odd, because the controls are sort of haphazardly scattered about. Because, well, on this side, you've got the front where the cassette goes in. That's quite nice metal door, aluminium door there. And if you look, it is indeed stereo. Sorry, it's a bit too dark, but it is indeed a stereo head, so they're not lying. And you have the eject lever here, which will activate a little thing, a little lever to push out the cassette. Now when you go onto this side, we have play, rewind or reverse, and a tone selector, and the stereo volume controls, so that's nice. And then on the top we have the stop, fast forward and hotline. Not sure what that actually means. I wonder if it's a mute switch or something. I'll have to find out. Hopefully it doesn't erase tapes or something. It's in very good condition, doesn't look to be in use at all, and of course we've got the 2 headphone jacks. So that's for, 1 and 2, just in case you didn't think that it was for the old-fashioned stereophones that require 2 plugs. You can also plug in your external power supply of 4.5 volts, or you just put in your 3 AA's, which is what we're going to do now. Well, first I thought we'd take a look at the rest of the kit. So we have the manual, which is just a... oh, it's a book. It's just a bit stuck together. We have a general description, in case you weren't sure what you've got. Your new pocket stereo is a high-fidelity stereo cassette player, which will give you years of listening pleasure if properly used and cared for. Yep. Powered by auxiliary sources for use in your car, boat, or in the home. You may use for private enjoyment with 1 pair of headphones. An additional pair of headsets enable 2 people to listen at the same time, so it's only for 2 if you pay extra. Glad they clarified that once you've bought it. Anyway, pretty conventional looking. Apart from the... oh yes, it's depress for communications with others. I do like how they've put it. Depress for communications with others. Such a stern way of saying it. Such a serious way, a wordy way. So it's a talk line. Don't know why they called it a hotline on the thing. So it feels like they changed the name, because yeah, it says talk line in the manual, but on the unit it is indeed described as a hotline, which sounds a bit different. Sounds like going to just subject someone to mains power or something. Weird. Anyway, it's all very conventional. Do not use it for moisture. Yeah. And do not open the case. Well, I might have to if the belts are not good. So the problem is just the batteries are weak. That's all they do. Oh, no, there's other things. And something quite nice, they give you a circuit diagram. Always like when they give you a circuit diagram. It's quite late for circuit diagrams, isn't it? Well, I don't know. I suppose I don't get many things that still have all their paperwork, but this is from the 80s. Anyway, that's very kind of them, and we've got the specifications. I actually don't really remember what's good and what's not, so you can tell me. they're probably not going to be that good because it feels like quite a cheap device. Anyway, nice to have the manual. We also have some headphones. I'm not going to unwrap them because they've totally disintegrated and they'd make a mess on the table. So I won't be using these ones, but I will have to find some foam for them or something, or just not use them. But they actually look reasonably okay compared to other really cheap ones of the era. And next we have the all-important case. Now this gets to the picture. Let's have a look at that picture again. And you see she's wearing it there on her hip. I do wonder how she's managed that, because she doesn't appear to be wearing a belt. Or is she? But it's not in a case. So something that's quite obvious, no belt clip. And there's nowhere for a belt clip to attach to. This case has a belt loop, as well as the points for the straps to attach somewhere. Oh, on this side. So you can attach a strap. The older ones have this. My Vela cassette player has the same thing, the weird one with the two speakers on the back. And yeah, you've got the belt loop, but you haven't got a belt clip, and she's not wearing a belt, and her thing is not even in a case, and it's also black. This one's grey and silver. So, And Askay is just sort of tacked on there. It is a set for a logo, but I don't know, it just all looks like a, oh yep, Askay, and then it can be whatever else brand you want it. That'll be how it is. It's just stick your brand on it. But yeah, that's not this unit. Well, actually, you can see even there that it hasn't got a brand on it at all. So yeah, this is just the generic stock photo they had for this unit of whatever brand you want it to be. So that screams of quality, and we have the all-important strap for your case. Actually, I think there's actually another case in here. If we unbuckle it, this will be, is this a case for your headphones, or is it? No, surely not for the headphones. Do you put a tape in here? That would be quite funny. Oh, yeah, I think you do put your cassettes in here. So you can throw this onto the strap and you can put you can have another cassette ready to swap over. That is actually quite neat. I like that idea a lot. Well, and I have wrapped this in some velvet to stop the studs from spoiling your unit. So a few little thoughtful points, but it is a rather cheap device. Well, let's stick some batteries in it. So it's quite simple. You slide the battery cover out, and just like any other device, you just slot batteries in following the symbols. Following the symbols. There we go. First time probably it's ever been powered up, looking at it. Now, I think I've said before, I have terrible luck with Walkmans, or maybe just don't buy very good ones. And Walkman sort of type devices, almost all of mine are broken. Although it's probably because I keep buying ones 4 parts, or in big groups, 4 parts, and they're all cheap. So who knows, maybe this will be one of the few times I get one that actually functions. So let's stick a cassette, just a cassette I've recorded. You might recognise this from that big box of cassettes I've got. And I think, yeah, you just slot it in, got a little clip, put that on. And I have another pair of cheap headphones to test it out. Not the ones I repaired, because those ones suck. Stick the headphones in here. And well, you know what, you can be the first to find out if music comes out of it. Just find the play button. Focus. Well, it's making a horrible noise. but it seems to be working. Let's see if there's sound. Well, you know. Oh, I forgot this cassette's really quiet because I recorded it. The sound's horrendous. The speed is not good. But then again, this thing's probably hasn't run in its 40-year life. Or about 40-year life. Ooh, that was dumb. Oh. Well, like a dictaphone, I accidentally, because I'm so used to conventional controls, I pressed rewind/reverse to stop it, because I'm used to a stop button being on the same side, not these tiny little black button. Odd that the stop button turns the thing on. This whole thing is weird. Anyway, I pressed that, and it actually just rewinds the tape, and you can hear it. So this really does function like a dictaphone. So I wonder if maybe it's based on a dictaphone. So you can do that. And there's this awful staticky noise. I haven't noticed that on this tape on anything else, so... Oh well. Did it again. That would take a lot of getting used to just, to figure out that the stop button is on the top and the play is on the side with the reverse. It is just bizarre to me that you'd have this layout of controls, and then you've got that LED there. Oh, that probably didn't help it, although it probably would have gotten rid of the hiss. But yeah, it's just a really, really strange layout of controls. The eject does its job, but that is just bizarre to me. And yeah, so that was a very low volume tape. But it functions. It does work. Not very well, but it's not a fair test when something's been sitting around in the box for about 40 years. So there you go, the Askay... the manual doesn't even say Askay, does it? So this is just a put your seal on. They conveniently hide it there. Conveniently hide it in that picture too, so that it doesn't look too odd. Anyway, your stereo cassette player. It works. Maybe with some use it'll work a little better, because again it's been sitting around for ages, but no, I suppose you wouldn't be too disappointed at the time. It probably would have been cheaper than a Sony Walkman, but yeah, it's about what I expected really. But it is nice that you've got the two headphone jacks. That is quite nice that you can have two people listening at the same time, although you do have to share the volume controls, so if your headphones are different, it might be a bit annoying. And these controls will take quite a bit of getting used to, at least for me. Well, there you go. A cheap Walkman style thing from the 80s. Here I have the Askay stereo hooked up to my stereo here, so that you can hear what it sounds like and observe its magnificent wow and flutter, because it really is something to behold. So yeah, there you go. And we can try with another cassette as well. I do like how it has a long pause when you press play for the sound to actually sort of play. Okay, here I have some nice instrumental. Let's fast forward a bit. Always got to find the controls, the stop, the fast forward, all scattered around everywhere. And then wait for it to play. Ooh, dear, I've actually got... There you go. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway. There you go. So, well, it is a 40-year-old little cassette player, and it would not have been top of the line or anything. So, not too surprising that it's not sort of Sony Walkman levels of quality. But yeah, it's not great. But yeah, apart from, and even with it, but even without that, and some of that can be probably blamed on its age, but I don't think it would have been perfect when new. But I think it's the controls is just so wacky, just having them scattered like that. There you go. Hope you've enjoyed this little look at the Askay stereo, and probably you're not going out to buy one. It'd be a bit of a silly thing to do, which is what I've done. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed.